You mentioned a couple of minutes ago that some people talk to ChatGPT, and this is me going on a tangent,
Hmm.
and experience it as just this mundane, inert interface, and others feel like they're talking to something with a soul, and they're really
Hmm.
taken by it. And I was wondering, so I take it both of you feel like you're just talking to a machine, like something that's very there's no ghost in there.
For me, it's just so apparent what the lineage structure is that I just I don't mistake it for something like me. Because I see all the historical contingency that led up to that thing existing. And so I don't think it's like deeply important or a signature of intelligence, but I wouldn't misinterpret it for an interaction with another human being. I just I don't feel that when I interact with it.
I know I'm not suggesting that
Yeah.
either of you might actually think that it's conscious, but while I also think it's totally inert, when I speak with or type to ChatGPT,
Yeah.
I cannot help but treat it very politely. Like
Oh,
I
I can
always
treat it
say
politely
please,
too.
thank
Yeah.
you, or like great suggestion. I don't I know that ChatGPT doesn't have feelings, that it's not conscious, but I guess part of me is also like, you've got to be really nice to ChatGPT. And it's not because when it kills everyone, I want it to have a soft spot for me. It's just I can't not do that.
It's a masterclass of marketing, the way they set it up, right? Had they set it up in such a way that it was very mechanical and so on, you get stuff out. They've kind of tried to layer in. I think it's a very interesting tool in that that yeah. I mean, I am I polite to it as well. It's like I try to be. I don't know really. The interesting thing about your point about interacting with ChatGPT, when I read a book, I do have I do feel I have a connection with the author, alive or dead. Like I've never met Dan Dennett, and I sadly never will because he's now passed. But I've seen him on interviews, and he's actually quite interesting, right? Because he's like, he has very definite views, or he had very definite views. And when I read his books, I'm like, oh, I'm interacting with this guy. I really feel what they're saying. The thing that I found with ChatGPT, because it's taken all the people and all the minds and mashed them up, I know that there's stuff in there that can be coming out as kind of entertaining, but because it hasn't come from one individual that has a lineage of experience, for me, I can see the uncanny valley linguistically exists in the way that abstractions are formed and put out. And I can see that ChatGPT has no understanding. And lots of people argue with me, like really smart people who really good critical thinkers think that ChatGPT does have some kind of underlying intelligence. And for me, I feel it's a fail from my side. I can obviously see that's not true, and I'm not able to explain that. And I think to myself, well, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe the ChatGPT does have some access to some actual understanding, intelligence, abstraction that I'm just, I'm the dogmatist right here. But I think it's just because I haven't come up with the right um, ontology to explain that. And so my reaction, I was just like, I don't ask for ChatGPT for help. I ask it to help me write emails to put to other people. To people who try and distract me with long emails, they get a ChatGPT email. They never notice because I say do
So
it in the style of Lee Cronin.
I maybe have an analogy to kind of like to help a little, like which is like flying in an airplane. So like flying in an airplane, I don't know about you both, but like every once in a while, I have this very existential moment where I realize I'm in a machine built by the human mind, and it's catapulting, at super high speeds, thousands of miles above the surface of my planet. Um, and, that's a really deep existential realization. And what I feel in those moments is gratitude for my species and the planet I live on, and just like this marvel of technology that exists because of all of these lineages that came to construct it. Um, and then there's also like these moments of terror where, where like every once in a while you realize that you're in a plane and you're like thousands of, feet above the surface of the planet. And most of the time you're interacting with it and you're not thinking about any of these things, right? So I think like when I interact with LLMs, for me, it's really interesting in this sort of existential moments to think about the lineage and the thousands of human conversations and the thousands of years of evolution of human language and the technology that had to be developed in order for this thing to exist and me to converse with human language as a physical object and an artifact in my environment. And then sometimes, you're like with Lee, like what Lee was just saying, where it's like, well, these other people could be right. And like, it could be the end times for everyone and everything. And I'm just like, well, that's kind of like, I don't know how to get behind that view, because it's more, to me, it's just the appreciation of what we are when I look at these things, not that I have some deep appreciation for this thing autonomous to us. So I guess that's, it's just amazing what humans can do.